What's the compound word?
The word to put together.
Oh, go ahead, girl. Oh, serious? Let me get myself together. All right, girl. We got this. So now, as you can see, when you follow down and you see the compound word, what's that compound word right there, big as day?
Me?
Big as day. What's that compound word?
Right here?
Yes.
Oh, black or a Moor?
Why are you saying it with a question mark?
Black a Moor.
Now, what's the part of speech?
Any dark.
Noun. The noun, the matrix. Noun. So now it separates the adjective from the noun. You see that? See, black or Moor. Any dark-skinned person, especially an African Negro, earlier black, small case, then Moor, and see how the black is all case, which means a straw, and is separated from Moor, which is a capital letter. There's the identification of these people who think they're black, right in the dictionary. See that? Mm-hmm. Spell it.
M-O-O-R.
All right. See how simple it is to educate children? So welcome to class, Moors.
This video is really just to put a final stamp on, you know, the whole young Pharaoh and Seti situation. You know, I done made three or four videos rather, directly to them, you know, addressing exactly what they said, putting the clips of their actual words in the video so that people can see for themselves. Then I showed you the evidence to the contrary, you know, proving their beliefs or their claims to be false and to be lies, you know what I mean, or at the very least misinformed. On top of that, I provided you evidence for you to look up for yourself, not just what I say versus what they say, but evidence that you can just Google, look up on the internet and the computer and see for yourself. And so at this point, it's not really much more I need to say. I don't need to debate them. I don't need to continue going back and forth with people that don't know and are not even honorable or real enough to admit that they don't know, you know, because that's just a waste of time dealing with those kinds of people. So this video is really just to point out, you know, or really is to say for anyone that's interested, you know, that may see or come across another young Pharaoh video where he's talking crazy about Moors, or a Seti video where he's talking crazy about Moors, or just anybody, and you're actually interested in the truth, you're actually interested in finding out, you know, the information and studying it for yourself and not being misled, just holler at me. You know, iamhhtemple@gmail.com. I'll shoot you the links, the references, books, videos that you can watch, you can read, you can look up and research the information for yourself. Yeah, I mean, I think that's really it. You know, I think if nothing else, I want to leave on this point, something to ask yourself and to ask young Pharaoh and to ask Seti. Why is it that it's only people that look like us that's trying to claim that we're not Moors? Why is it people like Seti and Pharaoh? If the Europeans are not trying to object us to being Moors and being our own people, and we're trying to get rid of the slave name, why is it that Seti and Pharaoh want us to hold on to it? Ask yourself, what is their solution to nationality? If they don't feel nationality is the key.
Nationalism is the wave of the present and the future. It is nationalism that's bringing freedom to oppressed people all over the world. It was nationalism that brought freedom to the Algerians. It was nationalism that brought freedom to the Nigerians and to the Ghanaians. It was nationalism that brought freedom to the people of Uganda and Tanganyika and Sudan and Somaliland. The Africans didn't get it by sitting in. They didn't get it by waiting in. They didn't get it by singing "We Shall Overcome." They got it through nationalism. And you and I will get it through nationalism.
They don't feel that that's the solution. What if they put forth and not just talk? What actual practical things do they have on the ground working? Because back in the 1920s, Noble Drew Ali had at least 100,000 people rolling with him and his movement. So I mean, if you're trying to down and disrespect Noble Drew Ali, what are you putting on? Well, I mean, even if we discount Noble Drew Ali, Farrakhan trying to disrespect the Nation of Islam. Well, what do they have in place of that? Nothing. And that's the real. They ain't got nothing. And rather than admit that and be quiet and let the people that do know teach, their ego, their pride is getting in the way, and that's why they jumping up and trying to talk and trying to cause division, because that's all they got. It's bullshit. Yeah, I think that's it, man. I think that's it. But I want you, you know, if you're still watching this, man, really use your critical mind and think carefully about what's going on. And think about the fact that Moors embrace all of our ancestry. If you truly study Moorish science, you understand it embraces all of our ancestry from all over the planet. So why would you be against that if we're claiming that we were all over the planet? You know, I don't want to call them agents. I don't want to say that they're working, you know, for some 3-letter agency, but the way that they go about things, their actions, their methods, they very much remind me of COINTELPRO. I'm not saying that they are. I'm just saying that the things that they do work counter to intelligence. So, I mean, you know, be careful, man. And especially be careful if it's anybody that's talking about we need to go to war, we need to do something foolish, man. And this is just even away from more stuff. If you hear anybody talking about that on the internet, you know, at rallies, man, be careful of them people. Be careful. Because 9 times out of 10, they ain't put in no work. They ain't finna put in no work. They just finna send you on a mission. And I think with that, man, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Much love to you. Once again, remember, this Moorish movement is not about trying to recruit, you know, convert people into Islam or being Muslim. It's not some religious movement. It's a national and divine. There's a political side and there's a spiritual side. Understand, that's what it is. But it's not about converting anyone. You know, really, it's about us reclaiming our heritage and who we are, and letting go of the things that have enslaved us. That's what it's really about at the very core, and teaching us how to love instead of hate.
And I have this to say about the critiques, those who critique. Criticism is good when it comes from an intelligent mouth. Criticism is good when they have something better to put in its place. Criticism is good. Don't criticize paperwork unless you can prove it to be a lie. And I can talk even recently, and I have a track record with many people who have been remedied with the paperwork that these juveniles are criticizing. Now, again, I don't reject criticism. I reject ignorant criticism. I reject people who can't read criticizing. I reject people who don't know law and history criticizing law and history. I criticize or reject a person that don't know anything about mechanics criticizing a mechanic. That's the issue. Do you understand? Not the criticism itself, but blank, unqualified statements from juveniles who can't read, who don't know history, who don't know that law and history go together, and because they have no courage whatsoever, they pontificate by criticizing the works of others who put their neck out on the line, even for them. Because if they would read the paperwork, they would support it. I suggest that most of them haven't read it.